was magnified in the sight of all nations from henceforth. See, that's our power. Showing up and showing out to the max. And the nations knew this. That's why, and you look at the Assyrians, they part of the haters and the enemies of the Most High when you read in Psalms, the 83rd chapter, until this day. So we're looking at 2 Chronicles, verse, let's read verse 9, 32 and 9. It says, after this did Sennacherib, king of Assyria, send his servants to Jerusalem. But he himself laid siege against Lachish and all his power with him. Unto Hezekiah, king of Judah, we know the conclusion of the matter. It says, unto Hezekiah, king of Judah, and unto all Judah that were at Jerusalem, saying, thus said Sennacherib, king of Assyria, whereon do ye trust, that ye able to, in the siege in Jerusalem, you able to stop me from coming and taking down Jerusalem? Does not Hezekiah persuade you to give over yourselves to die by famine and by thirst, saying, the Most High our power shall deliver us out of the hand of the king of Assyria? That's what he's talking to the people. Have not the same Hezekiah taken away his high places and his altars, and commanded Judah and Jerusalem, saying, ye shall worship before one altar, and burn incense upon it? Know ye not what I and my fathers have done unto all the people of other lands? Don't you know what I've done to all the people of other lands? We know the conclusion. We just read the conclusion. This is what he said before this, before the conclusion. Were the gods of the nations of those lands anyways able to deliver their lands out of mine hand? So were the gods of these other nations able to deliver themselves out of my hands? Who was there among all the gods of those nations that my fathers utterly destroyed, that could deliver his people out of mine hand, that your God should be able to deliver you out of mine hand? Now therefore, see, now therefore, let not Hezekiah deceive you, nor persuade you on this matter, neither let yet believe him, for no God of any nation or kingdom was able to deliver his people out of mine hand and out of the hand of my fathers. How much less shall your God deliver you out of mine hand? See? But we know what the Most High did. Verse 21. And the Most High sent an angel. This our power. The Most High sent an angel which cut off all the mighty men of valor and the leaders and captains in the camp of the king of Assyria. So he returned with shame of face to his own land. And when he was come into the house of his God, he came into his house of his idol, they that came forth of his own bowels, his own children, slew him there with the sword, killed him. Killed his wicked butt with the sword. Most High had his own children kill him. Because the Most High, with the Most High is the issues of death. Most High kill and make alive. He had to go down. Understand, overstand this. Go to Nehemiah, the first chapter. So we read most of these chapters, we in captivity. Nehemiah 1 and 1. The words of Nehemiah hung out with Ezra, who was given 204 books. We only have like, 80 books? So Ezra was given 124 more books than what the average person have this day. So Nehemiah once said the words of Nehemiah, the son of Hashaliah. And it came to pass in a month, Chislew, in the 20th year, as I was in Shushan the palace, that Hananiah, one of my brethren, came, he and certain men of Judah. And I asked them concerning the Jews that had escaped, which were left of the captivity, and concerning Jerusalem. See, we in captivity. So we asking of the ones that escaped the captivity. And they said unto me, the remnant that are left of the captivity there in the province are in great affliction and reproach. He said, the remnant of the Israelites that was left are in great affliction and reproach. The wall of Jerusalem also is broken down. They done tore down the wall for protection, and the gates thereof are burned with fire. And it came to pass, when I heard these words, that I sat down and wept, and mourned certain days, and fasted, and prayed before the Most High power of heaven. He crying to the Most High, praying to the Most High, crying to the Most High, for the condition of the affliction and the reproach that we were under. Israelites. And said, verse 5, I beseech thee, O most high power of heaven, the great and terrible power that keepeth covenant and mercy for them that love him. You love him and observe his commandments. See? Let thine ear now be attentive and thine eyes open, that thou mayest hear the prayer of thy servant as he crying to the Most High, which I pray before thee now, day and night, for the children of Israel, thy servants, and confess the sins of the children of Israel, which we have sinned against thee. Both I and my father's house have sinned. I gotta mark that one because, I deal with this in showing you what's marvelous before the Most High. And this man is righteous, yet still, he's not dealing with him being so righteous like everybody in this world would think. Because a few precepts, this or that. You better understand this was marvelous before the Most High. Hear what he said? He said, it's spiritual. Day and night for the children of Israel, thy servants, and confess the sins of the children of Israel, which we, including himself, this marvelous in the eyes of the Most High. So lucky, I just want to mark this, make sure that I add him to the list, which we, including himself, have sinned against thee. Both I, you can't deny. That's Nehemiah, powerful prophet. You were no joke. Which we have sinned against thee, both I and my father's house have sinned. You see that? He not holier than thou. He said, we have sinned against thee. Both I and my father's house have sinned. Take note, Israel. I had to stop and mark that because it wasn't marked. And got to add it to Daniel's 9 and Ezra, 2nd Ezra's 7 and 50 down. We have dealt very corruptly against thee, and have not kept the commandments, nor the statutes, nor the judgments, which thou commandest thy servant Moses. He said, remember, I beseech thee, as he cried to the Most High. That the land told us to cry to the Most High. Remember, I beseech thee, the word that thou commandest thy servant Moses, saying, if you transgress, I will scatter you abroad among the nations. See? He told us this. If we break his laws, he's going to scatter us abroad among the nations. But if ye turn unto me and keep my commandments and do them, though there were of you cast out unto the utmost part of the heaven, like over here in America, yet will I gather them from this. I'm going to gather you from here, from there, and will bring them unto the place that I have chosen to set my name there. Now these are thy servants and thy people, whom thou hast redeemed by thy great power and by thy strong hand. O Most High, I beseech thee, let now thine ear be attentive to the prayer of thy servant and to the prayer of thy servants, all of Israel, who desire to fear thy name. First thing he said, who desire to fear the Most High's name. Be afraid, be scared of his name, respect his name, and prosper. I pray thee, thy servant this day, and grant him mercy in the sight of this man. For I was the king's cupbearer. Let's continue on. Nehemiah 2. And it came to pass in the month Nisan, in the 20th year of Artaxerxes the king, that wine was before him. And I took up the wine and gave it unto the king. Now I had not been before time sad in his presence. I had never been before him with a sad countenance, before King Artaxerxes. Wherefore the king said unto me, why is thy countenance sad? Why are you sad? Who made you sad? What you dealing with that's making you sad? Seeing thou art not sick, you ain't sick. This is nothing else but sorrow of heart. Then I was very sore afraid. He got afraid. See, you get afraid of man, but you think the fear of the Most High ain't to be afraid of him. But see how he got afraid? Nehemiah wasn't no joke. You better read about Nehemiah. Nehemiah put you to death. He said he was so afraid. And said unto the king, let the king live forever. Why should not my countenance be sad, when the city, the place of my father's sepulchres, lieth waste, and the gates thereof are consumed with fire? They done destroyed my place of living. Then the king said unto me, the land of Israel, talking about Jerusalem. Then the king said unto me, but what dost thou make request? So I prayed to the Most High power of heaven. And I said unto the king, if it please the king, and if thy servant have found favor in thy sight, that thou wouldest send me unto Judah, unto the city of my father's sepulchres, that I may build it. And the king said unto me, the queen also sitting by him, for how long shall thy journey be? How long are you going to be gone, man? And when wilt thou return? When you coming back? So it pleased the king to send me, and I set him a time. I told him a time. I'm going, I'll be back this time. Gave him a time. Moreover, I said unto the king, if it please the king, let letters be given me to the governors beyond the river, that they may convey me over till I come into Jerusalem. And a letter unto Asaph, the keeper of the king's forest, that he may give me timber to make beams for the gates of the palace, which appertaineth to the house, and for the wall of the city, and for the house that I shall enter into. And the king granted me according to the good hand of my power upon me. See, The Most High is answering his prayer. He cried to the Most High, and you see the results of it, where he had the king show him favor. And he had others show him favor to make sure he had whatever he needed to build. Then I came to the governors beyond the river and gave them the king's letters. Now the king had sent captains of the army and horsemen with me. So he sent the captains of the armies and horsemen with him. Then Sanballat, the Horonite, and Tobiah, the servant, Ammonite, heard of it. It grieved them exceedingly that there was come a man to seek the welfare of the children of Israel, hating us, hating on us. So I came to Jerusalem and was there 3 days. And I arose in the night, I and some few men with me. Neither told I any man what my power had put in my heart to do at Jerusalem. So I ain't tell nobody. Neither was there any beast with me, save the beast that I rode upon. Say it's the only one that was with him was the beast he rode upon. And I went out by night, by the gate of the valley, even before the dragon well, and to the dung port. That's where, it's like all the feces and all that goes to. And viewed the walls of Jerusalem, which were broken down, and the gates thereof were consumed with fire. Then I went on the gate of the fountain and to the king's pool. But there was no place for the beast that was under me to pass. He couldn't go through. Then went I up in the night by the brook and viewed the wall and turned back and entered by the gate of the valley and so returned. And the rulers knew not whither I went. They didn't know. Or what I did. Neither had I as yet told it to the Jews, nor to the priests, nor to the nobles, nor to the rulers, nor to the rest that did the work. Then said I unto them, see ye the distress that we are in, how Jerusalem lieth waste, and the gates thereof are burned with fire. Remember, we heard the land saying it's a widow. Just talking about the land. Many a times, man, it went through this. Gates thereof are burned with fire. Come, and let us build up the wall of Jerusalem, that we be no more reproach. Then I told them of the hand of my power, which was good upon me, as also the king's words that he had spoken unto me. And they said, let us rise up and build. So they strengthened their hands for this good work. But when Sanballat, the Horonite, and Tobiah, the servant, the Ammonite, and Geshem, the Arabian, that's dealing with Esau, the Japanese, and Arabs, heard it, they laughed us to scorn and despised us and said, what is this thing that ye do? Will ye rebel against the king? Then I said, I them, and said unto them, the power of heaven, he will prosper us. Therefore we, his servants, will arise and build. But ye have no portion, nor right, nor memorial in Jerusalem. Let you know, but they were over there now, right? But he said, but ye have no portion, nor right, nor memorial in Jerusalem. If that's the case, let them come back and show our story in this Bible that's over there now in our land. Nehemiah 13. He told them they have no right in our land, but they're in our land right now until the time of the Gentiles be ended. Nehemiah 13. And we're going to look at verse 23. In those days also saw I Jews that had married wives of Ashdod. Remember the law that the Most High told us, just in case some of you forgot. Go back to Deuteronomy 7th chapter. He had to remind us of his laws. Deuteronomy 7th chapter. And we heard it already, but this is where it came from. Deuteronomy 7, and we start at verse 1. When the Most High thy power shall bring thee into the land whither thou goest to possess it, the land of Israel, and have cast out many nations before thee. These are 7 nations that he cast out before us. The Hittites, and the Girgasites, and the Amorites, and the Canaanites, and the Perizzites, and the Hivites, and the Jebusites. 7 nations greater and mightier than thou. These are nations that are not of the 12 tribes of Israel. And when the Most High thy power shall deliver them before thee, thou shalt smite them. He said, we shall kill them and utterly destroy them. Thou shalt make no covenant, no contract, no agreement with them, nor show mercy unto them. This is what he say, verse 3. This is key while we here. Neither shalt thou make marriages with them. Thy daughters thou shalt not give unto his son, nor his daughter shalt thou take unto thy son, meaning this interracial marriages. You say we're not supposed to do that. Why? But they will turn away thy son from following me. Remember, all the gods of the nations are idols, that they may serve other gods. There it is. So will the anger of the Most High be kindled against you and destroy thee suddenly. So the Most High get angry, then he destroy all of us behind what these wicked Israelites would do and still doing. But thus shall you deal with them. Ye shall destroy their altars and break down their images and cut down their groves and burn their graven images with fire. For thou art an holy people unto the Most High thy power. The Most High thy power have chosen thee, the Israelites, to be a special people unto himself. How special? Above all people that are upon the face of the earth. Going back to Nehemiah. Thus say the Most High. Nehemiah 13, 23. In those days also saw I Jews, Israelites, that had married wives of Ashdod and of Ammon and of Moab, and their children spake half in the speech of Ashdod and could not speak in the Jews' language. They couldn't speak Hebrew, but according to the language of each people. They spoke the language of these other nations that we intermingled with and married. And I contended with them and cursed them and smote certain of them. You hear that? And he killed certain of them. That's what I say Nehemiah was no joke. And I contended with them for marrying these nations outside of the 12 tribes of Israel. And I contended with them and cursed them and smote certain of them. You hear that? He killed certain of them and plucked off their hair and made them swear by the Most High, saying, ye shall not give your daughters unto his sons, nor take their daughters unto your sons, or for yourselves. This is what he say. Did not Solomon, King Solomon, king of Israel, sin by these things? Say, did Solomon do this? In his old age, made idol temples to these other nations, gods? And the Most High split the kingdom behind that. Listen, did not Solomon, with his son Rehoboam, he didn't do it under Solomon's reign. He did it under his son Rehoboam's. Did not Solomon, king of Israel, sin by these things? Yet among many nations was there no king like him. That's right, we got a lot of wisdom from King Solomon. Among many nations was there no king like him, who was beloved of his power. And the Most High made him king over all Israel. Nevertheless, even him did outlandish women cause to sin. You hear that? Even King Solomon did outlandish women cause to sin. Shall we then hearken unto you to do all this great evil, to transgress against our power in marrying strange wives? And one of the sons of Joadah, the son of Elisham, the high priest, was son-in-law to Sabalit, the Horonite. Therefore I chased them from me. Remember them, O my power, because they have defiled the priesthood and the covenant of the priesthood and of the Levites. Thus cleansed I them from all strangers, and appointed the wards of the priests and of the Levites, every one in his business. And for the wood offering, at times appointed, and for the first fruits, remember me, O my power, for good. This is what I did. Nehemiah, this is a bad boy. You wanna do that? Okay. You see what he said? He said in verse 25, he said, I contended with them that had married strange wives. I contended with them and cursed them and smote certain of them. He killed certain of them. You ready for that? That's how serious this is. He said he killed certain of them. And plucked off their hair and made them swear by the power of the Most High, saying, Ye shall not give your daughters unto their sons, nor take their daughters unto your sons, or for yourselves. Hear that? Thus say the Most High. That's what he said. Deuteronomy 7:3, we just read it. That's what thus say the Most High said. Because, I mean, the Most High gave every man this woman. Gave every woman their man as their nation the Most High created. All this great melting pot. Look at Proverbs 28:4. Nehemiah was no joke, I'm telling y'all. Listen to what it say. They that forsake the law, all you that say we not under the law, but we in the mercy and grace, and you're an Israelite. They that forsake the law, these are laws of the Most High, praise the wicked. All you that forsake the law, you praise the wicked. But such as keep the law, contend with them. That's why we've been contending with all you people out there that are praising the wicked by doing what the wicked say you're supposed to do and not keep the laws of the Most High. That's why Nehemiah did what he did. And he asked the Most High to remember him. Oh, my power, for good. I mean, understand, overstand. This ain't no joke, man. This is serious. Look at Mattathias, Judas Maccabees' father. Let's see what it says in Second Maccabees. First Maccabees, the second chapter, Salakia. The second chapter, let's start at verse 16. And when many of Israel came, this is in the Greek Empire, when the so-called white man came into power. And when many of Israel came unto them, Mattathias also and his sons came together. Then answered the king's officers and said to Mattathias on this wise, Thou art a ruler and an honorable and a great man in this city, and strengthened with sons and brethren. So you're a great man, strengthened with sons and brethren. Now therefore come thou first and fulfill the king's commandment, like as all the heathen have done. Yeah, and the men of Judah also, and such as remain in Jerusalem. So shall thou and thy house be in the number of the king's friends, and thou and thy children shall be honored with silver and gold and many rewards. Come on and do what the king wanted you to do. Then Mattathias answered and spake with a loud voice, though all the nations that are under the king's dominion obey him and fall away, every one from the religion of their fathers, and give consent to his commandments, yet will I and my sons and my brethren walk in the covenant of our fathers. And we know that covenant is with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And Jacob becoming the forefather of the 12 tribes of Israel. The Most High forbid that we should forsake the law and the ordinances. This diligence, this being obedient to the Most High. We will not hearken to the king's words to go from our religion, either on the right hand or the left. Now, when he had left speaking these words, when he told them off, when he finished speaking these words, there came one of the Jews in the sight of all to sacrifice on the altar, which was at Modin, according to the king's commandment. Which thing when Mattathias saw, he was inflamed with zeal, and his reins trembled. Neither could he forbear to show his anger according to judgment. Wherefore he ran and slew him upon the altar. He ran and killed him upon the altar. Also the king's commissioner, who compelled men to sacrifice, he killed at that time, and the altar he pulled down. Thus dealt he zealously for the law of the Most High, like as Phoenix did unto Zambri, the son of Shalom. See, that's that zeal of the Most High, keeping his laws. Let's think about how people are now. They could care less about his laws, but to do wrong and to break his law, he say, hey, and you gonna do it in front of him? He say, oh no, it's not going down like this. We ain't having this. He say, thus dealt he zealously, verse 26. Thus dealt he zealously for the law of the Most High, like as Phoenix did unto Zambri, the son of Shalom. Right? So we already got a case scenario where Nehemiah did it, right? Let's look at what he's saying there. Go to Numbers, the 25th chapter, and verse 7 and 8. Get right to the point. Numbers 25, let's see if I want to do it the whole story. Numbers 25, okay, let's go to Numbers 25. Let's start at verse 6. And behold, one of the children of Israel came and brought unto his brethren a Midianitish woman in the sight of Moses. Right? So he brought this other nation that's a Midianitish woman in the sight of Moses, and in the sight of all the congregations of the children of Israel, who were weeping before the door of the tabernacle of the congregation, trying to reach the Most High. You see? Because Israel was dealing with whoredom against the Most High. And when Phinehas, who we just read about, Mattathias remembered this. And when Phinehas, the son of Eleazar, son of Aaron the priest, saw it. He rose up from among the congregation and took a javelin in his hand. And he went after the man of Israel into the tent. This man that had married a Midianitish woman, right? And he went after the man of Israel into the tent and thrust both of them through, the man of Israel and the woman through her belly. So the plague was stayed from the children of Israel. And those that died in the plague were 24,000. And the Most High spake unto Moses, saying, Phinehas, son of Eleazar, the son of Aaron the priest, have turned my wrath away from the children of Israel. What did he do? He went into his tent and he killed the man and the Midianitish woman, the Israelite man and the Midianitish woman. Now the Most High is talking to Moses. He said, Phinehas, the son of Eleazar, the son of Aaron the priest, have turned my wrath away from the children of Israel, while he was zealous for my sake among them, that I consume not the children of Israel in my jealousy. He done killed 24,000, that I consume not the children of Israel in my jealousy. Wherefore say, behold, I give unto him my covenant of peace, and he shall have it, and his seed after him, even the covenant of an everlasting priesthood, because he was zealous for his power. You know this? The Most High is a man of war. The Most High is his name, Exodus 53. Look, he said, and he shall have it, this covenant of peace. He did that, and the Most High stopped the wrath upon all of us. And he shall have it, and his seed after him, even the covenant of an everlasting priesthood, because he was zealous for his power and made an atonement for the children of Israel. How? By killing the Israelite man and the Midianitish woman. Now the name of the Israelite that was slain, even that was slain with the Midianitish woman, was Zimri, the son of Salu, a prince of a chief house among the Simeonites. He was a Simeonites, Simeon. And the name of the Midianitish woman that was slain was Cosbi, the daughter of Zur. He was head over a people and of a chief house of Midian. She had some kind of royalty. Hear what it says? He was head over a people and of a chief house in Midian. And Most High spake unto Moses, saying, vex the Midianites, and smite them, kill them. For they vex you with their vile wiles, wherewith they have beguiled you in the matter of Peor, in the matter of Cosbi, the daughter of a prince of Midian, their sister, which was slain in the day of the plague for Peor's sake. Said, kill him. Let's go back to 1. Numbers 25:1. And Israel abode in Shechem, and the people began to commit whoredom with the daughters of Moab. See that? Moses said, don't go with these other nations. Don't go into them, let them come into you. Don't give our sons to them, don't give our daughters to them. But we began to commit whoredom with the daughters of Moab, Chinese, indigenous, or aboriginal. And they called the people unto the sacrifices of their gods. Remember, say they're going to turn your sons and your daughters to follow their gods. So they turned the people unto the sacrifices of their gods. And the people did eat and bow down to their gods. Remember, Moses said, thou shalt not bow down to them. But we bowed down to their gods. And Israel joined himself unto Baal Peor. And the anger of the Most High was kindled against Israel. And the Most High said unto Moses, take all the heads of the people and hang them up before the Most High against the sun, that the fierce anger of the Most High may be turned away from Israel. And Moses said unto the judges of Israel, slay ye, kill you every one his men that were joined unto Baal. You hear that? Kill them all. Woo. That's our story. For real, for real. Y'all ready for that? So, let's look at Psalms 22. Psalms 22. So we didn't play that. Now it's like whatever, because all the laws, because the Most High said, look, go to Hosea. Oh, before you go to Hosea 4:1. Hear the word of the Most High, you children of Israel, for the Most High has a controversy with the inhabitants of the land, this land too, because there is no truth. What's the truth? Let's sing it together. Psalms 119, 142, that righteousness is an everlasting righteousness, and thy law is the truth. Because the laws of the Most High are not taught in this land. Because there is no truth, nor mercy, nor knowledge of the Most High in the land. By swearing and lying and killing and stealing and committing adultery, they break out and blood touches blood. Therefore shall the land mourn, and every one that dwelleth therein shall languish, be sad with the beasts of the field and with the fowls of heaven. Yea, the fishes of the sea also shall be taken away. Dang. Yet let no man strive nor reprove another. For thy people are as they that strive with the priests. For real. Therefore shalt thou fall in the day, and the prophet also shall fall with thee in the night, and I will destroy thy mother. You hear that? Gonna kill everybody, he said. What we did say, my people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. Because thou hast rejected knowledge, you bring forth the knowledge to show you are. Salakia.